Well, welcome back to Microeconomic Tutorials. We're continuing on with our story of supply and demand and how it works. We talked a bit last time about how changes in supply and demand will move the equilibrium price, and it will also move the equilibrium quantity. But I want to back up and talk some more about this thing called the price mechanism, what Adam Smith called the invisible hand. Prices are the key that give us information about the marketplace, and based upon that information, we choose our behavior on just about everything that we consume. And I want to give an illustration of how this invisible hand, this price mechanism, actually works. So I want to pick an example. One of the places that I could have, maybe should have gone to lunch today was a place in Mansfield, Ohio called the Athens Restaurant. And I had a student that was related to the owner, and so at least part of this story is true, and then part of it I'll probably just have to make up. But if I would have gone to the Athens Restaurant, a Greek restaurant, I probably would have picked something like I don't know, how do you pronounce this word? Gyro? Gyro? Someone from Greece would probably say, no, that's euro, not gyro. Well, we're Americans, and so they're gyros. What can I say? We're Americans. So, there's this fellow in Mansfield, Ohio, at least at one point in time, who started this. He was Greek. He started this Greek restaurant, and he sells these gyros, which I think are lamb meat, and it's on a spit, and it has a big spotlight on it, heat lamp, and it goes round and round and round, and people order these things, and they have a big knife, and they cut off big sections of these gyro things. They put it in an elephant ear with some lettuce and some secret cucumber sauce, and it tastes pretty good. Tastes pretty good. And I haven't been there for a long time, so I don't remember what they cost, but let's just say a nice round number like $5 isn't a round number, but we'll pick $5 anyway. We'll pick $5 if we would go there this afternoon to get one of those big, nice gyro sandwiches. And does anybody buy those at $5? And we would say, yeah, there's people walking into the restaurant, they're buying them, they're sitting down eating them, they're taking them out. And so there is a certain quantity, call it QX, a certain quantity that are being sold at that market price. Step 2. This part is also factual. That the owner of this restaurant decided, I've been in good old Mansfield, Ohio long enough. I'm getting pretty close to retirement. I think I'm going to sell off this restaurant to some of my relatives, let them carry on the business. It's time for me to go back to Greece and live out my retirement. But before I go, I'd like to see more of the United States than simply Mansfield, Ohio. It's a nice place. But I think I'll get one of those trailers that have sides that flip up, and I can put some heat lamps in there, and they got a refrigerator thing, and I'll go to the county fairs, and I will sell these gyro sandwiches to people in rural Ohio and West Virginia and Pennsylvania and all these places that I would like to visit, but I don't want to use up my retirement money to go visit all these places. So I'll just hit the county fair circuit, and I'll sell these gyros to cover the cost of my sightseeing tour around the country. So he has this trailer. He makes up this trailer, and it's all decked out, and it's got the refrigerator and the freezer and the lamps and all of the ingredients and everything for him to make these gyro sandwiches. And the first day of the fair opens. And I don't know, when you go to a fair, do you usually get really, really good prices, lower prices, same prices as normal, or are they normally higher? Probably higher. The marketing rule is if you don't know where the market equilibrium is, and by the way, we know what the equilibrium is because that's how we drew the curves. But for our friend who goes to the county fair, he doesn't know what the market price is. He knows what he's willing to sell, how much he's willing to sell for each and every price. But he has no idea what the demand is because most of these people have never had a gyro sandwich before, and that's why he's going to take this good food to them so they can have this Greek European eating experience that they wouldn't get unless he took the Greek gyro to the people so they could enjoy this wonderful sandwich. He doesn't know where the market price is, and so he's thinking to himself, well, people usually go to the fairs to see something new, do something, and spend their money on rides or whatever, and when they run out of money, they go home. So maybe they'll experiment and buy one of my gyros, because if they eat it, I can almost guarantee they're going to like it, and then they're walking around the fair and they have this aluminum foil around this big gyro sandwich and they're chomping away, and other people are going to see them chomping away at this big old gyro sandwich, and they're going to say, hey, what's that? Is that pretty good? Yes, really good. Well, where'd you get it? Oh, over there next to the horse barn place down that aisle down there. And pretty soon they'll like my gyros, and then I'll have some good business. But how do I get them to buy that first gyro? I think... Now, he's never had an economics class, so he doesn't know. I think I'm going to use some teaser. I think I'll offer it for $2 a sandwich. I mean, people coming up and say, how much your sandwich? $2. Never had one before, but for $2, I could take 2 bites, and if I don't like it, I could throw away, and I wouldn't feel like I lost very much. So I think I'm going to set it at $2. Now, we know where the market equilibrium price is because we drew the graph, but he doesn't know where it is. So let's say that $2 is down here, and at a $2 price, according to our graph here, how many of these gyro sandwiches is he going to sell? Well, he asks the $2 price question. He comes in till he hits the demand curve. He comes straight down. Excuse me, I get rid of this old thing because I don't want it to confuse us. We ask the $2 question. We come in, we hit the demand curve, and the quantity demanded at $2 is this much right here. Now, what does this mean according to our graph? That means there's going to be a whole big long line of people that want his gyro sandwiches at $2 because maybe 10, 11 o'clock in the day. And what's a gyro? I think I'll try one. $2, sure, I'll throw $2 at that. And that's a good sandwich. I really like that. And they tell their friends and neighbors, and pretty soon by lunchtime, he's got a big old line there. And by the time it goes to 4 or 5 o'clock, the line gets that big, and it never stops. People are buying 2 or 3, and now they're starting to buy them before they go home because they're thinking, for $2, where can I get a big sandwich like this for $2? This is a pretty good deal. And by 9 o'clock at night, he's going, phew, he hadn't even had a time to take a restroom break. I mean, he's going like crazy because the line never quits. And he goes, I'll take care of you, you, and you, and you, but I've been here on my feet since about 10 o'clock today, and it's close to 8 o'clock, and that's more than an 8-hour day, and I'm on a retirement, and I don't want to do this gyro thing anymore, and I've been eating pain pills all this time, and so I'll take care of you, you, and you, and that's all for today, folks. I'm done for the day. And he turns his back, and he makes his sandwiches for those people, and then there's other people that get in line. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm really tired for the day, and I really can't get to you guys back there. They go, hey, buddy, my wife was here with some friends earlier today, and she made me come from work and drive all the way here to get 10 of these gyro things for the family tonight, and I drove that way. We want our gyros. We want our gyros. Or we're going to call sheriff or something because I drove a long way to get here. Okay, all right, I'll take your gyros. And it's that way all the way until about 11 o'clock at night. Now, what he did was, he had a price that was way below the equilibrium. So at that price, how hard did he want to work? Well, for $2, he only wanted to produce that many gyros, and then he wanted to go take a tour of the fair. But what happens at $2, consumers really thought that was a really good deal. They want a lot at that price, but he doesn't want to produce a lot. He's getting tired. As soon as he gets tired, that's as hard as he wants to work. For $2. He doesn't want to work real hard if he's only going to get $2 a sandwich. So what happens, he gets a big long line, And by the time 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock comes around, he's pooped, he's done, he's over, he wants to shut her down. But unfortunately, the fair board said, nope, nope, you got to stay there. These people want to gyro. They're coming in, they're paying their dues at the front gate so they can come get their gyros, and you got to stay right there and do all them gyros. Well, our friend goes to bed that night, a whipped little puppy, and he's thinking, that business was way too good. I don't ever want to have another day like that. I'm retired. I'm not built for this. I'm not going to put up with this. And he's never had an economics class in his life, but guess what he's going to do to make sure that he doesn't get another day like that? Yes, right. He's going to raise his price. Now, let's say he raises his price from we'll go through two scenarios. Let's say he raises it to $4. We'll do that scenario first. And let's say he says, I'm so scared, I don't ever want to have a day like that. I'm going to raise it to $10. Well, let's do that one first. So he raises it from $2 all the way up to $10. Why? Because he doesn't want to have to work that hard for such little money. If he's going to work that hard, he wants to get $10 per gyro. If he gets $10 per gyro, he's more than happy to eat pain pills all day long for the arthritis. That doesn't make a difference. As long as he's getting $10 a throw for each one of these gyros, he's willing to work straight through, no problem. He is willing to really, let me get rid of this down here. At $10, he is willing, quantity supplied. Boy, is he willing to produce the gyros at a high price at $10 a piece? Yeah, he's really excited. Come on, let's get the line. I love this. This is going to be great. $10 a throw. I am ready. I'm loaded for bear. I want to do these gyro things. But the people come back and they go, whoa, what's this $10 thing? I mean, it used to be $2. Yeah, I know, but that was then and this is now, and I worked way too hard last time, and I don't want to work that hard. And evidently, I undersold the market because they're worth a whole lot more than $2. I found that out, and so it's a good value for $10. And the people say, $10 for one sandwich? I mean, I know this is a fair and everything, but that's just a little bit high. So they walk in, they go, thanks, but no thanks. At $10, the quantity demanded is pretty small at $10. Now, did you notice what I did not say? I did not say at $10 the demand was small. The demand is this whole curve. What I did say was at $10, the quantity demanded is very small. But at $10, the quantity supplied at that price is huge. I mean, at $10, he's willing to produce a lot of these gyro sandwich things. So he's got the spit going, he's got the heat lamps on, he's got everything going, and lo and behold, people walk up, I'll take, what's that price change there? What's that $10 thing? Well, I was going to buy a couple, but not $10, and so I don't think I was that was a bait and switch. You got me into like these things. As soon as you get me to like them, then you jack the price up and you think I'm going to buy it for $10 simply because I like it. Well, I'll tell you, I'm not. So he walks away. So the amount of people who buy it is very small, but he's geared up to serve a lot of people at $10. So by the time 10 o'clock comes around, he's still got a lot of lamb circulating there on the spit in front of the heat lamp. And he's got a lot of supplies laid out. He's got a lot of lettuce all cut up, ready to go. And he's looking at that lettuce. He's looking at the time. And he's thinking, I'm going to have to throw it all away. I don't really want to waste it. So even though he didn't take an economics class, what's going to get this stuff to move? How can I get some money out of all this scrap material that it's turning into dog meat because it keeps going around, it keeps shrinking, it gets tougher and tougher and tougher. So what he's going to do, he's going to lower his price. Let's say he lowers it down to about $6. Let me stop here. When the price is above the equilibrium, the quantity supplied is greater than the quantity demanded at that price. Again, when the price is above the market equilibrium, the quantity supplied this number, whatever number this is greater than the quantity demanded, whatever this number is, and this difference, that difference between the quantity supplied and the quantity demanded is called a surplus. But don't forget this last part. It's a surplus at that price. It was a surplus at that price. And so now he's going to lower his price down here to $6. And at $6, people walk by and say, oh, well, I'm glad to see you're coming to your senses here because they're not worth $10, but yeah, I will buy two for $6. And so as the price comes down, the quantity demanded goes up. The quantity demanded goes up. But what happens over here? Over here, he's saying, yeah, at $10, I'm willing to work really hard, really fast for a really long time. But as the price comes down, I'm not willing to work as hard. But as it is, I've already got it out here, and so the quantity supplied at $6 is right here. And we still have a surplus. But what happened to the surplus? The surplus is shrinking. The surplus is shrinking. Now, why is the surplus shrinking? Because our friend here, who makes these gyro sandwiches, is acting in his own self-best interest. He's saying, rather than me throw this stuff in the trash, I think I'd rather lower my price and get something out of it rather than nothing out of it. And he will continue to lower his price until, as long as the fair is still going and he's still got any surplus left, he's going to continue to lower his price and lower his price until he comes to the market equilibrium, at which time the surplus has dwindled down to nothing. Now, we didn't need any price police to get rid of this surplus. Now, we've got a lot of lines and squiggly stuff, so see if I can't clean this up just a little bit here. See if I just can't clean it up for us and go back to an earlier point. Got to clean it up, make it all look pretty again. Let's go back to this $2 scenario. The $2 scenario, because he didn't know where the equilibrium price, and he priced it too low, he worked himself to death. Which at this low price, what's the quantity demanded? Well, we come over till we hit the demand curve and come straight down. That's a big old quantity demanded there. Huge quantity demanded at that low price. What's the quantity supplied? Well, he's not making much money, so he's not willing to work very hard to produce those gyros at only $2. So this would be the quantity supplied. And notice the quantity supplied is off of the supply curve. Now, when we have a demand, quantity demanded, that is greater than quantity supplied, this difference is called a shortage at that price. When the quantity demanded is greater than the quantity supplied, we have a shortage. We have a shortage. Now, don't forget this last part. We have a shortage at that price. If we have a shortage and this line won't go away, what did our friend decide to do to get rid of the shortage? He didn't need a microeconomics class. He didn't need anybody to tell him. All he needed to do was raise the price up here to $4. When he raises the price, now the quantity demanded goes down because as the price goes up, people are not willing to buy as much. But as that price goes up, his willingness to work hard increases. He's willing to start taking pain pills now because he's at $4, he's willing to work about twice as hard as it was at $2. We have off the spot quantity supplied and quantity demanded. And look what happened to our shortage. Our shortage shrinks. Our shortage shrinks. And it will continue to shrink until he takes it all the way up to the market equilibrium. What did we say about the market equilibrium? The market equilibrium is where suppliers want higher prices, Consumers want lower prices, but there are some people who get as much as they want at that price, and there are other producers who sell all that they want to sell at that price, and there is no shortage and there is no surplus. That's what we meant by the market equilibrium. We did not mean that everybody's happy. We did not mean that the producers were all happy. We didn't mean that all the consumers were happy. We're saying that whoever wanted some of these gyros or whatever at this price got all they wanted at that price, and whoever was producing and selling these things sold all that they wanted to sell at that price, which means now the market clears. The market clears without any police, without anybody telling anybody else what to do. Everybody's acting in their own best self-interest, and the market clears. It's somewhat similar to the way nature abhors a vacuum. It's springtime now as I'm giving this particular lecture, and we're just about time to have thunder showers, and when you have thunder showers, you have lightning bolts. When you have lightning bolts, you have thunder, and you have this lightning that we now know goes from the ground up and back and down. And when that lightning goes through the atmosphere, it's got air in there, it mesmerizes things, and it creates a vacuum, and both sides of the air come together with a big thunder clap. What caused that thunderclap? Well, the vacuum did. Nature abhors a vacuum the same way the free market abhors surpluses and shortages. You want to get rid of surpluses? You want to get rid of shortages? All you do is you let Adam Smith's invisible hand allow people have the freedom to trade at whatever price they want to trade at, and shortages will go away and surpluses will go away. But do we have shortages and surpluses in our market today? Yes, we do, and that will be the subject of the next microeconomics tutorial.